in some situations. Okay, so let's dive into it. Oh, when we do a check with word problems, you get to check against the MPVs, gentlemen, and you have to check against whether the answer makes sense in the context of the situation. So give me an example of a number that would not make sense in finding the length of a door. A zero, a negative, right? So even though it works mathematically, it doesn't work in the context of the problem. All right, here we go. A train is scheduled to run a 160-kilometer return trip between two cities in Manitoba. Okay, 160 kilometers. If the average speed is decreased by 16 kilometers per hour, the trip takes half an hour longer. Determine the average speed of the train. So let's do some math. Do we know what the average speed of the train is?
We average.
That's what we're trying to find, right?
We plus something divided by 2.
I'm going to use the letter S if you want to use V. Do you want me to use V? Would that be better for your little brains? Okay. All right. I appreciate we are fun people, but getting distracted is not going to be helpful to us. Do we know the time it takes to travel 160 kilometers when we don't know the speed? No. Hey, this is chapter 8-2. We're going to be doing systems. Now we know, how much are we decreasing the speed by?
60 kilometers.
All right. And what's happening to the time? Adding how much? 0.5. 0.5. Because what's our speed measured in? Hours. And so it says it takes a half an hour longer. So we have to put everything into hours. So if it takes 10 minutes longer, we got to convert that to an hour. So we're going to have t plus 0.5. How do you guys feel about that? Nothing too terrible there. It's kind of like creating those binomials in the max-min problems. Sort of, kind of, but these are equations. So if I'm looking at the average speed, what's that in an equation? Let's put our information into the equation. The ones that I told you to get tattoo on your soul. Yeah. Right? So that's going to be V equals 160 over T. And do you guys see how that is a rational equation? Why is that a rational equation? It has numbers and it has
A fraction.
A fraction, yes, and? And where are the letters located? On the bottom. All right. Okay, I want you all to create the equation for the slower speed. Okay, was that hard? Kinda. Not when we're doing it together. Everything's easier when we work together. All right. This is what we call a system. We have two unknowns. What are our unknowns? What are our variables? V and T. How many equations do we have? Two. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve this system. Now we've made a statement here that the letter V is equal to this fraction. You guys all agree with me? The letter V and 160 over T are the exact same amount. So what we're going to do is in the slower equation, we are going to replace the letter V with this fraction. Because we just said V equals this. So in this equation, we can say, okay, we're going to replace the V with this. And then I'm going to ask you why I did that. Why'd I do that? Because I'm looking for time. She's so smart. What is the poor guy? It's
Like, you're not special. I have 5 minutes to look over. You have 1.
okay. We can move our desks. Poor Cash is just existing. He's literally existing. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't grown his hair in the last 2 seconds.
You could always move to the very front desk.
Or you can move out. Like if you want to move this way, then not a direct line. Okay. So the reason why we did that move is because now I only have one variable to solve for. And as Katie smartly pointed out, it's the letter T. I could have rearranged the equation to equal T, and then I could have substituted in T, but that's fractions instead of the denominator, and that's just ugly, and nobody wants to do that. So now, you guys who did all your homework last night can solve this. You can. You totally can. Okay, go, solve it. Step 1, factor everything. Step 2, NPVs. What are my MPVs?
Can equal 0 or negative.
Okay. Okay, good job. Then what comes next?
LCD.
LCD, thanks. Amy's getting in trouble. So I'm just gonna, so what's my LCD?
T.
Ooh.
Plus 0.5.
Okay, so this is its own thing, and this is its own thing. So we are going to have T plus 0.5. It has to have both those denominators in it because this is a set. Okay, go from here. Yep, what's the next step? It's got an equal sign in it. So what do you do, Amy? What do you multiply? You're totally correct. Yeah, by what? Tops only.
Yeah, by the tops only.
Tops only. Okay, go. Got it? I'm just... Wow.
Don't we always use like the T only for the lowest common denominator, or do we use like everything at the bottom?
Well, because the T plus 0.5 is its own set, just like when we did the one on the board, the H minus 2 and the H plus 3, we didn't say, like our lowest common denominator was both of those, right? We didn't say, oh, H is in both of them, so I'm going to have an H, I'm going to have a 2, and I'm going to have a 3. We take the denominators.
But when you go side 2,
Yes. Yeah.
for everything, or is it like when I'm finding my lowest common denominator, don't I always like just look at the 2, which are
No, you look at everybody. Yeah. Anytime it's a subtract, it's you have to distribute that throughout the entire subtract sign. I skipped a step. And okay.
Which one? Single displacement? This isn't even chemistry.
I think it's a combustion.
Oh, yeah, no, it's so much in my brain. That was double displacement where there's people switch towards.
Did that help? Looking at it that way?
I didn't realize you like distributed through
I need somebody to check my math. I did a lot of that in my head. Yeah? What's t times t? Oh. Tricky. Me? It's like me and Cashton just got kicked out of class. You because of your hair, me because I don't know, I'm trying to teach math. I don't know. Okay, we got a t squared here. What do we know we're gonna have to do? We're gonna end up factoring probably complexly, might be common. Do I leave the t squared over here or do I bring it to this side?
Bring it.
Oh, up to you. Totally up to you. Both answers are correct. I'm gonna move it. Why am I gonna move it? To get the positive.
Oh, wait.
You moved everything. Not jumping.
She did a mega.
I did a mega move and I showed no math.
Wait. It cost you for 160.
I've got 160 on both sides.
Okay, so.
So if I minus 160,
Oh, okay.
so really if I'm moving sides, I'm just changing its sign, right? What can I take out of here?
8.
Take an 8.
Wow, that was so tough for me.
Is that one a noun or equals?
It's an adverb.
Yeah.
And it's 8 and 10.
2 and 10.
Oh.
20. So 4 and 5.
Oh, I can take stuff out. I'm not I know what to do.
Okay.
I was just pretend I know how to do it. It usually works. I gotta look.
So I'm not showing all the steps for factoring. I'm going to assume that you guys are okay. Now that may be an incorrect assumption, and that's okay. I've been wrong before.
You know the factor? Complex.
So like the complex factoring, 2 times negative 10 is negative 20. What are the factors in negative 20 that add up to negative 1? Negative 5, negative 4, or positive 4. So I did all my factoring there, and these are my 2 answers. Well, we're not even done the questions, so we're gonna work back up to the top. Okay, right away, ladies and gentlemen, I got some answers. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna check them against my MPVs. I think we're good. And then I have to check one more thing. If it makes sense. What doesn't make sense here? That -2. Because what are we talking about? Well, T is what? T is time. So we're gonna reject this one. Okay. Okay, what does the question ask me to solve for, ladies and gentlemen? Average speed. So what did I solve for? Time. So I'm just going to slide up here for a second. We made it. Hi. We made an equation that would find us our average speed. V equals 160 over T. We also said that V represents the average speed. So we know T now. Do we not? We just found it. 5 over 2. So we need to finish this by answering the equation. So the average speed uh, 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. That makes my heart sad to put a decimal in there, but I'll get over it. And what are my units of measure on speed? This is the answer to the question. They were clearly stated on the other side and I ran out of room. Okay, so that's it. Easy peasy. No, not even close. Good try. There's only 3 examples though.
28?
Is there 20? No, there's not 28, is there? There is. Can I do that to you? It's a possibility. I can be mean like that. 28 questions to be done for tomorrow.
No, there's just 5.
I know, but everybody keeps saying it's 28. We're just trying to freak people out.
Oh.
It's our happiness in the day. Whoa. What? Okay. We're gonna try this. The Scallion family drove to their lakeside cottage at a rate of 90 kilometers an hour. What information do you have? You have speed. They returned home. Sorry, bad spelling. They returned home on the same highway at a speed of 60 kilometers an hour.
V1, V2.
Okay, V1, V2, I like it. What do we know about distance? If we traveled the same highway home?
V2 minus V1.
It's the same. We can't cancel it out, but it's the same. I didn't pick up my cottage while I was there and carry it a couple kilometers down the road. Guys, I mean, I'm pretty strong, but I don't think I could do that. So we know that distance is the same whether I'm on my way to the cottage or whether I'm on my way home from the cottage. It's the same distance. If the round trip took 2 hours, how far do I live from my cabin? How far? So I'm looking for a distance. You guys are like, but that doesn't make sense. If it took 2 hours, you're cutting it in half, but I'm going different speeds. All right, so we're gonna create a table. We're gonna fill some stuff in. Okay, let's fill in some stuff that we know. To the cabin, how fast am I going? 90 kilometers per hour. I'm very excited to get to my cabin. I'm less excited to go to my home because that means I got to go back to work. So I'm driving slower on the way home. Maybe it's raining. Maybe I'm being very cautious. Could be snowing. What did we say about distance, Vishwa?
Same.
It's the same, right? It's the same distance away. Do I know what that distance is?
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, I like that. Not yet. So I don't know what that is. Time. Do I know how much time it took to drive each leg? But what do I know in total? Round trip 2 hours. So if I said I don't know how long it took me to drive to the cabin, so maybe that's the letter T. I know that my drive home took
T minus 2.
2 minus T. Because the whole thing took 2 hours, and I would take away the time it took to drive there. Roy, you gonna be okay? No? How long did it take in total? If this took me 45 minutes, if it took me 45 minutes to get to my cabin, how long did it take me to get home?
No.
An hour and 15. What math did you do?
Subtraction.
You did subtraction, right? We took 2, we took the 45 minutes away from it, we got an hour and 15.
The round trip. I thought that was there and back.
Right, the whole thing took 2 hours. Okay, so if it took me half an hour to get to the cabin.
Never mind.
You with me now? Okay, good. All right. What do you do now? Math. Let's create our equations. Okay, so the last one was kind of nice because one was set to a variable already. It was easy peasy. So I'm going to look at the simplest equation, which if you were to look at these two equations, I said, work with the easiest one. Which one would you pick, cabin or home? I would pick cabin just because there's nothing attached to the letters, like there's nothing attached to the variables. You totally could do this all with the home one as well. It's just how much math you want to do. Can you set the cabin formula equal to D?
Yep.
Rearrange your equation so that it equals D.
Did you guys quote?
Mm-mm. Just the cabin. I want to get rid of that T. What do I do?
Times.
If I times the right-hand side by T, have to times the left-hand side by T. Everybody good with that? So it's equal to a single variable. That's a key piece. Equal to a single variable is a key piece. You are now going to take, you said that D is equal to 90T. You're going to take this, and you are going to substitute it in the other equation where you see the letter D. Okay. You guys can solve this, right? Yeah, you can. It's just a rational equation. Step 1, factor everything. Already done. Step 2, NVPs, NPVs. I got it backwards. What can T not equal? This is a weird way to write it.
2.
Just 2. It's a positive 2. Now what's the next step?
No.
No.
No, we factor everything. You're like 3 steps behind.
LCD.
Okay, LCD. LCD. This one is the easiest one yet.
T, or 2 negative T.
Now what do I do?
180.
Multiply all tops. I don't know what's happening.
What's 90 times
90 times 2, 1 4, no.
2? 80.
Why are you doing 90 times 2?
Yeah, I don't know why you're doing 90 times 2.
Oh, yeah, never mind. That cancels out.
Cancel. Okay, is there, so what's my strategy here? There's no squareds.
Solve for T.
Solve for T, just basic algebra. Grade 9, 8. When did you learn algebra?
What is the algebra?
T plus 16.
12 over 5, I can take a 3 out of those, so 4 over 5. Is that a good answer? Bad answer?
It's a good answer.
If you did 120 divided by 150, it's going to be 0.8. You did that in your calculator. So I just canceled out my zeros, right? So I'm looking at 12 over 15. What number can come out of 12 and 15? 3. So what's 12 divided by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. It's broken? Is that T good or bad?
Good.
Good. We checked against our NPVs and it makes sense because it's positive. Now, if you want to put it as a decimal, that's okay too. You might find that easier to work with. What does this question ask me? The distance. So again, I have T, but it's not really what I need. I need to use it to find the distance. So I've made this wonderful equation right here about distance. I'm going to use it. And what are my units of measure there? Kilometers. It's distance, so I hope we're not measuring it in hours. Okay, how terrible was that?
Not a lot.
Kind of terrible. That's fair. Okay.
Oh my god. There's no word.
Okay. All right. You ready?
Oh, should I be?
You should be. Stella takes 4 hours to paint a room. Jose takes 3 hours to paint the same size room. Okay? How long would it take for them to paint the room if they worked together?
7 hours.
That would be what... I'm done with you guys.
Is it not 7?
No, it is not 7.
Yeah, because
I would
it would be 7, 4 plus 3.
Yeah, 4 plus 3. But it's the same area. No. Why would it
One
be 7
took 4 hours, took the other 3 hours, 4 plus 3.
What? I worry about you, Vishwa. I worry about you.
4 plus 3 and divided by 2.
And what would you get?
4.5.
And it would be wrong because that would mean that they're working at the same rate. And we know that Stella works slower than Jose. Vishwa's getting kicked out. Throwing him away. All right. Okay, so together is always better. Aww. Okay, how long does it take Stella to paint a room?
7.
No,
4.
she's 4. How long does it take Jose to paint? How much? I don't know how to word this. How much work is done in 1 hour for Stella?
25%.
Nice. Can you give it to me as a fraction?
1/4.
Not. That's not a fraction.
1/4.
So work done in 1 hour. She's done 1/4 of the room in 1 hour. How much does Jose have done in 1 hour? 1/3 of the room's painted.
Yeah, I heard.
What if I don't know the hours? In T hours. No, you're on the right track. When we were looking at 1 hour, where did that number go? On top. So if we're doing T hours, it's going to be T over 4. So that just means is that T can change, right? We could say T is 2.5, we could say T is 3, whatever. So this guy is going to be T over 3. So together, how much do they complete? This would be the time that it takes Stella to complete is over the total number. So maybe that's not the best way to describe it. One job, it's going to be completed in T hours. So it's going to be equal to to 1. Woo. All right, here we go. We are going to set this as our equation. Now we want them to work together, so what mathematical operation are we going to use if they're working together? Plus. I don't know who said that first, but you're brilliant. Okay, can you guys solve this one?
Yes.
Go.
5.
No, but go.
6.5. You're easy.
Any variables on the bottom?
No.
No. What do we know T has to be though? Above. We know it has to be a positive number, right? And that's called a restriction that you just figured out there?
What's 12 divided by 7?
Are you sure? No, we had to make up the floor.
Did everybody get 12/7?
Oh, wait. Yes, okay.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. All right. So, FYI, on your quiz on Monday, you are going to have questions that are just solving, that are just going through the mechanics of solving an expression. You will have, I say this, let me double check. You will have, I don't even know where I put them. You will have a bunch of questions that are important on things. I'll find them for tomorrow. I thought I photocopied them already.
Me too.
Okay.
Ow!
Then I will find them right now. Talk amongst yourselves for 2 seconds.
Is it a work period tomorrow?
Yep.
Do you want us to express it as a decimal in our problem answer?
I would accept both. I would accept both. But what will upset me is if there's no units of measure. Okay, quiz. Ooh, I should probably stop this as I'm yelling into it.